Hello, and welcome to the Finny Games. It's your host, BBG, aka Broke Black Gamer. What's good, my BGs? Today I wanted to talk about the 9070 XT. The 9070 XT really sparks my interest right now because, as a broke black gamer, the Nvidia feels a lot like a sinking ship. The more I see people pay for these 70 class, 80 class, and 90 class GPUs, really puts in perspective to me that this ship for me has sailed. And not only that, but the tech influencers, all they do is continue to promote these products, which is also very unfortunate because without any type of boycotting or people having any self-control, people in other countries outside of the United States, they get stiffed even higher, and then all of us broke Americans just get told how poor we are, and that is a luxury, etc, etc. Then fine, very well. With that being said, it might be time to abandon ship. AMD feels a little bit like a lifeboat right now, but the lifeboat feels a little too attached to the sinking ship for me. And Intel, it's just way out in the ocean, very far away, and they have a very good entry-level GPUs and they're looking great. I did a poll the other day and it seems like it's one of the most popular GPUs, at least among the people that I surveyed. Or videocards.net does some polls and it looks like the Battlemage GPUs are really popular there too. Seems like it's a pretty good consumer move. Another thing about Intel is they seem to have a lot of potential, especially since XESS was better than FSR out of the gate, which was really pathetic on AMD's side. But I would like to get to know more people's anecdotal experiences about their AMD GPUs in the comment section below, because the future looks like it will be AMD for me. I'm not keeping up with this whole BS prices thing. You guys priced me out. Like, I'm good. In the past, I paid $800 for my 1080 Ti. I paid $1,200 for my 2080 Ti. I paid pretty much $1,100 for my 4080 Super, and that was all okay and fine because they were your high-end 80 class cards. But now that these prices have reached the 70 class, again, that's where you lose me. And the 70 XT looks interesting because some benchmarks, which have been a little bit more on the hyperbole side, have showed that it will outclass the 7900 XTX. And if you compare the 7900 XTX and the 7900 XT to the 9070 XT, both of these look above, have superior specifications, especially when it comes to the memory specifications. And the stream processors, they are just greater. So when it says that it's better than the 7900 XTX, I assume that where they said 45% better, they are just speaking about ray tracing, as a 7000 series AMD GPU is more comparable to a Nvidia 30 series GPU in terms of ray tracing. However, the 9070 XT will be more comparable to a 40 series GPU in ray tracing. So that seems like to be a good option, and I've always believed that you got better value for gaming alone with AMD GPUs than Nvidia GPUs anyways, unless you're doing content creation because you know how much the software love CUDA. But at the same time, there are other softwares for people who have AMD, but a lot of the mainstream stuff are linked with CUDA, with Nvidia, so whatever. Another thing is Nvidia, their 4060 right now, it looks like it's going for sometimes $500, a little bit less than $500, and sometimes over $500. That kind of makes me a little weary of the 5060 and the 5060 Ti. And remember the 16 gigabytes last generation, at least for the 40 series? The 4060's extra 8 gigabytes of VRAM did not help in gaming performance. So that shows you who their market is. It's probably for people using the GPUs for other things, because that 16 gigabytes of VRAM is definitely helpful when you're creating different sorts of content, but it didn't make a difference in the gaming because the card wasn't strong enough. They didn't reciprocate that extra VRAM with more power. So I don't really see those cards as a good option, especially the 3060 Ti. That seemed like it was the last real 60 class GPU. Some people don't even say that was a real 60 class GPU. Some people say the last real 60 class GPU was a 1060. And that brings me to my next point. If you are planning on jumping or upgrading from a 1060, it might now be the time to get an AMD GPU, because the 1060 used to actually trade blows with some of Nvidia's other GPUs, except for NVRAM. But there are better values out there on the AMD side. The 7900 XT, the 7900 GRE, and even the 6950 XT are all still great options, but the prices aren't really good for those either, honestly. I was like looking, it's just kind of crazy how everything is going up, but especially Nvidia's. And unfortunately, people are continuing to support this. But the 9070 XT, a lot of those benchmarks that I was saying earlier that are extremely high, I suspect that that's because some of those might be using FSR4 when some of those leaks had it being close to the 5080, because there's no way we're getting raw rasterization and ray tracing performance for less than $700 at this point. That's better than the 5080, 4080 Super, 5070 Ti, etc, etc. So I don't really see where we plan on going in the future with Nvidia. Like, the ship for me has sailed. I can't pay for that first class scalper premium. Regardless, I think that the 9070 XT will hopefully be a good indicator of the future, and we'll see FSR4. And I can't wait to see the comparisons between DLSS4 and FSR4. Right now, I do think Nvidia pretty much has the edge. But again, for these newer, or for these people planning to upgrade right now, how could anyone recommend Nvidia right now, guys? Like, you'd be kind of out of this world to recommend Nvidia to a new upcoming PC gamer right now. I know that there's supposed to be more shipment coming in March, but will they release the GPUs at MSRP when they get more? No, I wouldn't, because people are going to buy them anyway. Nvidia GPUs will continue to stay at this premium price. I remember a while back that they were giving rumors about the 5070 Ti being a professional card, and that you only needed the 5070 for gaming. Maybe this was predetermined, because they literally gave us another 4080 and they just kept it at $1,000 for the third year, and it's take it or leave it. If you want a game, you get a 5070 with 4090 levels of performance. That's Nvidia's attitude, and we see they gave us more AI tops, but again, we're missing the ROPs, and that can impact your GPU performance up to 4%. This has been the worst launch in history. Literally everyone has said that. It's just a disaster. I don't need to repeat why it's a disaster. I talk about it all the time. Everyone talks about it all the time. I think this is the first time, though, that I really have just felt like Nvidia is just putting the final nail in the coffin for us budget high-end gamers. That won't be a thing anymore, at least not with Nvidia. So I just wanted to make a short video, and by the way, I just want to give a shout out to RJ the Game. He's been making a lot of videos lately about his Nvidia experience. He's currently on a 4090, the godly GPU. And he's had AMD GPUs, and he talks about his experiences with both. So he's recently been putting out a lot of helpful content. So you should check his channel out if you're trying to upgrade, or if you're interested in just comparing both options. I personally think that especially if you're a GTX gamer and you care about rasterization and raw performance, why not just go AMD? If you don't care about the Nvidia features like path tracing, who cares? AMD does ray tracing pretty good, but which is great, especially with the 9070 XT about to come out, because especially with things like Lumen, you would want a good Radeon GPU that's capable of being able to use Lumen, because there's going to be more games with that as a prerequisite before you can even game. So I do think the 9070 XT would be great for that. according to the benchmarks anyway. It has more RT cores, so that could be one of the advantages over a more powerful, older Radeon GPU like the 7900 XT. But if those don't get FSR 4, then I mean the 9070 XT would be a no-brainer as a new GPU, especially if it's priced at the right place. Again, educate BBG on Radeon GPUs. Let me know all your experience below. I'm making this video short because I don't like to comment and talk that much about things I don't own, but feel free to educate BBG and some of the other Nvidia fanboys. I was an Nvidia fanboy for most of my life. I would never even look at an AMD GPU. But those times have changed, and now it's time to embrace other options. But I'm not getting rid of my 4080 Super yet, so let me hold on to it. We'll do this process slowly. Just don't tell me to get rid of it. I already decided I would keep it, remember? Because I couldn't find a 5080 or 4090, so let me keep it. So with that being said, the Finny games are over. I'm keeping my 4080 Super for now.
These people are efficient, professional, compulsive consumers. It's their civic duty. Consumption. It's the new national pastime. Fuck baseball. It's consumption. The only true, lasting American value that's left, buying things. Buying things. People spending money they don't have on things they don't need. Money they don't have on things they don't need. So they can max out their credit cards and spend the rest of their lives paying 18% interest on something that costs $12.50. And they didn't like it when they got it home anyway. Not too bright, folks. Not too fucking bright.